Callum.
Mm-hmm.
Some of Daenerys' troops have started strolling instead of marching. What is their nickname?
The Swindling Cocks.
Well, they don't have any cocks, do they?
No, yeah.
No, it's the Unhurried.
Right. Right.
Welcome to day 7
Cool.
of the Genesis of Andro Rosani Advent Calendar. We are here to do Game of Thrones again. Season 5, Episode 4, Sons of the Harpy. If you'd like to see the full-length reaction, you can go to Patreon. It's in the description.
Down there, description. Go click it.
Unlike
All that.
Unlike Daenerys' troops, you should go and hurry there. Last time we had High Sparrow, which was the best Season 5 so far.
Yeah, easily. Very easily the best. The best of Season 5 so far, mainly because it had characters doing what they normally would do and have quite meaningful moments.
Yes.
You know, the stuff that makes the show good.
It had the dad from the Pirates of the Caribbean talking about boils. That's why it's good.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, so based on the last episode, your anticipation.
My anticipation.
You're anticipation going to Sons of the Harpy.
Well, with that title, I imagine Marine is going to be quite heavily featured, or at the very least, it's going to have a scene that is probably the most impactful of the episode. Whether they capture Son of the Harpy, maybe that's what they're going to do, I don't know. Other than that, more probably boring stuff with the faceless ones. Well, maybe we'll get something on that. Maybe that will actually develop. Whenever we go to the wall, it's normally good, so if we go there, I'll be excited for that. And King's Landing is right now mixed, so it could either be good or bad. And then you got Jamie, who's going to, what's it, Dawn? Is that what it's called?
He is going to Dawn.
Going to Dawn to save his daughter, maybe, or talk, or be civil. Well, we'll see.
Have a like penis contest with Bronn.
Yeah, we'll probably get more on the Boltons / Reek / Sansa / Littlefinger. Then Brienne and Podrick could, do. They had that really, really good scene last episode, so maybe we'll get more of that. Hopefully. But other than that, yeah, that's.
Well, also at the end of the last episode, Tyrion was captured by Jorah Mormont.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I tend to try and forget about that because that moment was really shit. I was thinking about this like the last couple days. The only thing about that is only somewhat redeemable is probably like just the fact of their friend. Varys and Tyrion's friendship is something that could be developed on. Now they've had a change of scenery, and they're now going to be doing something a bit more, I guess you could say, direct with Daenerys. There's potential for that to be something that's interesting to explore, considering how their relationship was in King's Landing and what it actually could be now. That maybe they could be a bit more open with each other, but so far it's been Tyrion pissing and moaning.
You say that, but they've just been separated.
Yeah, so maybe there won't be as much that in the next couple of episodes, I'd imagine. I imagine that he's not going to be captured for that much longer, considering he is on his way to Marine. But this time via capture.
I mean, Jorah did say he did say I'm taking you to the Queen, which is exactly where he was going anyway.
Exactly. The actual Queen, not the one that was in that whorehouse.
Yes. Not the cosplayer.
The cosplayer. Yeah, other than that, I think that's covered everything. Hopefully it'll be okay. Hopefully it will keep trucking along.
Jorah Mormont went to Comic-Con in Volantis for sex. Yeah, and also you said faceless ones. That's the Doctor Who story. They're called the Faceless Men.
Oh.
Or Faceless Assassins.
Faceless Men. Alright, there you go. Very similar names. By being very similar, having one word difference.
Although the thing that they have in common is they take the form of others.
Yes, they do. That's what that is. What they do. They have masks. They can. it's all magical bullshit. Seemingly.
Shall we get into Sons of the Harpy?
I guess we shall. It's so like the thing about this intro is that in terms of like how it looks, it's pretty much been the same since season 1. And I know at some point it does slightly change in terms of like the animation, like whatever. It's slightly different. But yeah, the first 5 seasons pretty much been the same. Like here, I know this is exact same how it's shown. But I know at some point something happens to the wall.
Yeah, it's an exceptional intro.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It is. It's very. It is like it's iconic for a reason.
I watched a video from the YouTuber Glidus breaking down. What did they break down? They broke down the Game of Thrones theme musically, and it's a great video.
He does do a lot of Game of Thrones stuff.
We have a new one.
Dawn, just literally. Well, we're going to Dawn.
To be fair, that should just.
Oh god, look at that snake.
That should be the Water Gardens, not Dawn, because Dawn is like a whole area. Oh, we have a new writer, Mr. Dave Hill.
Dave Hill. And Mark Millard.
Yep, Dave Hill has replaced George Martin.
Oh. I'm gonna steal your boat.
For your troubles.
That's a good detail. Actually, like paying money for it.
Oh
fucking hell! You could be a little bit more careful. He could bang his head, you know. From one boat to another.
Sir Jamie.
His beard looks a lot like Scorpio Sky's. It's a very similar beard.
This is the home.
It obviously helps with the.
That island he was looking at is the home of Brienne.
Oh. Brienne of Tarth.
We're rescuing my niece, bringing her back to her family.
Your niece?
No, fuck you. How? What? Why would you just fucking say you're not? Oh, Jamie, you're not that fucking stupid. How do you let that fucking slip? That's so dumb. How do you let that fucking slip? So he's just learned that he has a niece. And as soon as he sees who that niece is, he's gonna put 2 and 2 together. I'm so baffled by that.
Varys, set him free.
That's a lie.
He murdered my father.
On the toilet.
If I ever see him, I'll split him in 2.
I'm sure you will, Jamie. I don't believe you. That was stupid. Here you go.
I'll
Get out of
give your
there. Go.
regards to the Titan of Bravos.
Oh, he's so cringe.
Yeah, it's the granddad trying to crack a joke every 5 seconds, and they all miss.
Smaller and smaller.
Not small enough.
That was good. Those two share really good scenes together. It's quite a chemistry that's quite unexpected.
This is a very nice church.
Ooh, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
No more sex.
Oh.
There's a special place in the 7th hell for your kind. Please.
Oh god, bigotry.
I'll pay.
Ouchie. No, you take this very seriously, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Not the other gay.
She's jealous you're not hers anymore. Arresting my brother is her revenge.
Aren't you and Mother getting along?
No. Fucking hate each other.
I'll set him free for you.
Do you promise?
God, he's so awkward.
I
He's doing a
demand
very
the
good job of
Cellars
being
be
awkward.
freed now.
Did I arrest him?
Go on,
Well,
little
no.
stag.
He's just so easily. He can be so easily toyed with.
Yeah, he's just nothing like Robert at all.
No. Well, no, he's not. He's not anything like Joffrey. Like,
Yeah.
he can't be commanding in either sense.
Yeah, he is really the anti-Joffrey in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He will not be disturbed.
Give the order, and we'll clear out this rabble.
You mean kill them? Here.
Oh, God. We know the rumours.
We'll find another way.
Yeah, he's just not Joffrey, is he?
Nope. Like, if it was Joffrey, he would have, yeah, instantly, like, kill them all.
I have to send word to grandmother.
Will you come back later?
I need to be with my family, Your Grace.
Commander of the Night's Watch.
Bastard by some tavern slut.
Perhaps. But that
Shut
wasn't Ned's.
the fuck up.
Love this marriage.
Hmm.
Not your fault.
Whose then? I gave you nothing but weakness.
God, she's such a terrible person.
Apologies, my lady.
This is how you see the future.
That's how you create the future.
Do you feel my heart beating?
I loved another.
The dead don't need lovers. Only the living.
I know. But I still love her.
Yeah, well done, John.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Oh my god! That's quite good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Man, why is the wall just the best part of this season in almost every way?
It's almost like it's George R. R. Martin's source material, for the most part.
Were you bored a lot too?
I know Castle Black is no place for a child.
I like it.
Why do you say that?
Because she fucking hates me.
Told me I don't want to bring you.
How do you know? Because she told me.
Everyone advised me to send you to the ruins of Valyria to live out your short life with the stone men before the sickness spread through the castle. I told them all to go to hell. They stopped the disease and saved your life. Because you did not belong across the world with the bloody stone men. You are the Princess Shireen of House Baratheon, and you are my daughter.
Damn. That's good. Yeah, again, another great scene.
Mm-hmm. It's like, when you actually give this actor material like that, you know, you see
not
it.
have him just do nothing for a whole season. I feel like the best parts about this season so far for me is like when the characters are going back to places where a lot has changed since then. And there's a lot of meaning behind it.
But even the most dangerous men can be outmaneuvered. And you've learned to maneuver from the very best. I'll return before too long. You'll be strong without me.
I just don't believe you when you say that.
Yeah.
She's not...
It's all word salad, isn't it? Like, it sounds great when he says
Yeah.
it, but when you think about it, it's like, hang on, would he really believe that?
No. Like, what has she done to be someone who maneuvers around people? She's, for half of the show, has been really kicking and screaming.
I mean, the when she got out of the trial at the Eirich. That was quite good, but I don't think that's enough to overturn
No.
Ramsay Bolton.
No. All Bruce.
Man, this would make so much more sense if it was Ellen Payne and not Bronn.
Fucking hell.
Breakfast. Sounds like a good song to me.
Sounds like all the rest.
Ugh.
Of the woman I love.
She want the same thing.
P would argue that's good foreshadowing, but
Well, hang on though. Which woman is he talking about? That's the. I feel like there is a version you could do of that, which is different, and means the same thing.
It's almost as if though Jamie's character is meant to evolve from that to what people think.
Fucked in the ass.
I'm kind of confused about where they're. Oh, hello. Yeah, where the fuck are they?
A bit hard to hide on a beach.
Yeah.
Swords in the sun. Now!
Time to earn your payday, Bronn.
Oh, what a shot. Right, you've dealt with 2.
Oh,
That one should be slow enough.
Oh, the scimitar.
Oh, that was so strange. Fucking these cuts. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, too many cuts.
Oh, God, my head is spinning. Oh, stop with the fucking cutting. Fucking hell, it's doing my head in. Oh. Wow, mate. Oh, that's. I mean, for it to perfectly slot inside there is and that's something he clearly didn't know he could do.
Luck. You had a wonderful teacher.
That's what's the word for that? Lamp shading. He referenced the thing that was unlikely.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
Oh God.
A ship's captain who found me in
Oh my God, it's
Mr.
Scorpius
Scorpius.
Yeah, with the beard and the bald head.
Reach, for the sky.
Oh, he can't run now. He's buried.
My father pointed to the spear, and then to my mother's tears.
Oh no! And as soon as she picked it up, I knew she was going to do that.
Oh, Scorpio's injured again.
Indefinitely.
Here we go. Best part of the show, apparently.
Can't sleep without wine. And stay awake.
He's putting on an accent.
A high-born knight from the north of Westeros, down on his luck in Essos. Dragon epaulets, bare sigil breastplate. Your Jorah Mormont.
Oh wow, you probably would want to hide. You'd probably want to hide that better if you're going for the idea of trying to not be obvious about who you are. Ouchie.
Things I do for love.
Speaking of...
I was thinking about all the times your brother made me go with him down from the Red Keep into the streets of King's Landing.
Why?
He liked to walk among the people. He liked to sing to them.
He sang to them.
Yes. Well, one time he gave it to the next minstrel down the street. One time he gave it to an orphanage in Flea Bottom. One time we got horribly drunk.
Talk about a family is something that I feel like we would probably have gotten more of by now. It sounds like that's something that could actually be interesting.
Oh, Sir Barristan, sing a song for me.
Your Grace.
Oh no! God damn it, you can't go whoring in this place.
It's that same one from episode 2.
Okay, we're gonna get a hallway fight. Yes, we are. Oh, they're very much outnumbered. Oh no! Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Right in the back of the neck. Uh-oh. You might want to watch out, matey. Oh, Jesus. Not in a vital place, though. Ooh, I wouldn't... Probably not best to take it out just yet.
He wants to use it.
Yeah, true, but... Well, he's the only one left. How on earth are you going to get out of this alive? Oh, I have a bad feeling about this scene. And we just had a scene where he talked about, you know, the old days. Talked about Daenerys' brother. Yeah, I have a very bad feeling about this scene. And the music. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Okay.
So, Callum, Sons of the Harpy.
I thought that episode was relatively fine. Overall. I did not like one scene in particular for a certain reason, and I felt, if I'm assuming that the man is dead, I wasn't a fan of how he went out. Other than that, I thought there was actually a good amount of really good dialogue scenes in this episode. I thought character interactions were pretty darn good. I thought acting was very, very much of a high standard. And I only had a couple problems here and there. Overall, I thought this was fine. Not as good as last week's episode, though.
Yeah, the highs weren't as high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the problem with this episode is when people talk about it, they only remember the end scene.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, because Barristan's death is universally hated by fans. It's so...
I feel like that's not surprising.
Yeah, it's extremely unpopular that Dave and Dan decided to kill him off.
Yeah, that's a lame death. It's quite lame.
Yep, especially because, well, I mean, let's break it down, right? So, you have the greatest, one of, if not the greatest swordsman to ever live, gets shanked in a back alley by some unfaced thug.
Yeah.
And this is when you have, and you know, the actors talked about this in interviews about how towards the end of the 5th book, Barristan gets point of view chapters where he becomes like a lead character in Meereen. And none of that happens now because he's dead. And he begged Dave and Dan not to kill him off and to change their mind. And they said no. And there was actually an interview they did where they said that him asking them just made them want to kill him off more, which is pretty bit of a cunt move.
Strange. Very strange to have that reaction of someone who's like, not only does this character live on in the books and does important stuff, I'd really feel like, yeah, having that sort of reaction to someone like, I feel like there's potential of this character going on while events still take place. Yeah, it was, again, like, you have him, yes, in this scene, the odds are stacked against him, but, like, to have fucking Grey Worm it feels so weird that Grey Worm somehow survived us all. To me, that just feels strange, in how the odds were so stacked against him, but he managed to get the final kill. But that didn't even matter because he was already dead. I don't get why they did that. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You might as well have him have his throat slit. It's very strange to have that moment, but also, oh, by the way, he is dead though. It's very strange. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I think it's a lame way to go out because, yes, he is outnumbered, but these are seemingly like not experienced fighters. They're literally their whole thing is the numbers game.
Also,
and
you
that's
think
the
about
reason why they get the upper hand.
You think about Barristan's character arc. His sort of ideal purpose would be to go back to King's Landing and face Cersei again.
Yeah.
After she exiled him.
Why now kill him off? As soon as they had that scene with him and Daenerys talking about, you know, Rhaegar and how he liked to sing, and they did, you know, he gave money to an orphan, he gave it to, you know, other people, and one time they went and got drunk together. It very much painted a picture of like, are they about to kill you off? Because as soon as they started killing all the Unsullied, and then we get him in the street, and then I'm instantly going, oh, okay, I know TV shows, I know stories, I know what you're doing here. And as I said, during that whole fight, me talking about, you know, how it's all structured and what they plan to do, yeah, I was instantly like, okay, this is quite lame. And how he dies is quite lame.
Yeah, there was a lot of fans that really turned hard on the show from this episode because of that one scene.
Like, again, not only is the death itself lame, like, again, how on earth does Grey Worm survive this? He is literally, every other Unsullied is killed in the alley, like, pretty easily. Yet despite him getting stabbed in his side, and he takes the knife out, he still somehow manages to kill another 4 of the Harpies.
I just think it's fucking strange that the great Barristan Selmy was killed by our Sons of the Harpy. I think that's really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just very, very strange.
Yep. Yeah, it's a shame though, because the scene he had with Daenerys was actually really good.
Yeah, that's the best scene they've shared together, probably like in God knows how long.
Yeah, I mean there was a so do you remember back in season 3 when Mormont, Grey Worm, and Dario they raid Yunkai?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the same episode as the Red Wedding. Yeah. So in the book point of view, you don't see the fight because Daenerys is the point of view character, and whilst they go off to do the fight, this scene happens between her and Barristan. But in the show, what they did instead is they showed us the point of view of the fight itself, and so they've put that scene here. Yeah. So this was the scene that was supposed to be in Yunkai, but instead they've put it here before Barristan's death scene. And they put like a sort of a shortened version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a really stupid, terrible decision. And
I just don't get why.
And yeah, it's very clear they've sliced out a lot of Marine from this, because Barristan has probably, I think it's like 5 chapters near the end of the 5th book, and there's a lot of really good stuff in there. Especially related to the investigation of the Harpy itself. Barristan sort of takes charge because of reasons. Yeah, it's a real shame. And the actor wanted to keep playing the character. The actor wanted to see the character through, and they killed him off early. Like just what a waste, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I hated that. I hated that element of it.
Mm-hmm.
His Dara is continuing to implored Daenerys to reopen the fighting pits for tradition.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else to talk about with Marine.
No, that's pretty much it. It was only in the last 8 minutes of the episode, and that was pretty much it.
It was nice to learn more about Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yes, like I said, that feels like such a part of the show that could be so much interesting conversations to have about that. Like, what was life like during those times, and how is Daenerys gonna react to that? You know, what would she? I feel like she would ask way more questions about, you know, what was King's Landing like during the reign of the Mad King, and ask him like stuff like that. And it feels like that's something that could be so interesting to talk about.
I mean, during her sort of inner monologues after the first book, she has a lot of flashbacks to her childhood with her brother Viserys, and we don't ever get to see that in the show.
No, it feels like something that's so untapped because her whole thing through this show, her motivation in this show is to get on the Iron Throne. So we get such a lack of, and it feels like it's been like the case for like 2 seasons now. There's such a lack of, you know, trying to get onto the Iron Throne right now with Daenerys.
Well, they're not really telling you much of why she's staying in Slaver's Bay.
No. I get why she has done what she's done so far, but so far, ever since they have stayed in Marine, it kind of just feels like they're just sitting and waiting to do something.
Well, there's bits in the books where characters will say, "Is it your place on the Iron Throne?" and she rejects it. She says she has to, like, there's reasons why she wants to stay in Slaver's Bay. You know, there's multiple reasons why she decides to not go there sooner.
Man, not only did he have a lame death in The Timeless Children, he also has a lame death in Game of Thrones. How fucking awful for him.
That's right.
At the very least, he had good scenes in this show, as opposed to the 2 episodes of Series 12, which weren't good. And it was a waste of it as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he gets a lame death here, and that kind of sucks because he is a character this season. He literally did nothing this season, and that's kind of annoying me as well. You've literally he had one good scene. He literally had one good scene, and it was literally seconds before he died.
Yeah, they also cut out a whole aspect of his character from season 3 as well, and 4. One of the things they do with him in the books is they have him disguise himself as someone else, and it's so that he can see what Daenerys is like before he trusts her.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a TV show, you'll instantly know it's Barristan. And you get these moments where Jorah Mormont like looks at him and is like, he looks familiar, but I can't place who that is. And his like fake name is Arston Whitebeard. It's almost like a bit of an old Ben Kenobi sort of thing. But the difference is that in the books he knows that Jorah Mormont was spying on her, but he didn't want to reveal it until the time was right. Whereas in the show they had to miss all the small council meetings, so he didn't actually know anything about it, and he found out because of that kid's, you know, pardon by Robert Baratheon, which Barrett set up in the small council scenes in season 4. But yeah, they wasted Barristan in this part in the Slaver's Bay section of the show. They really wasted him a lot, and we didn't really get to see his character come full circle.
No, we didn't, and that's quite unfortunate. It's not a. There are deaths in media where the unsatisfaction of it is what enhances the story of those characters. Like in Arcane with Marcus, I feel like that's the biggest example. This is not it. This is not how you do that kind of story. Yeah, it's quite lame. But that's kind of it with Marine. I actually thought it'd be more of a factor in this episode, but I guess the impact of that 8 minutes was pretty big.
Apparently so. I mean, to be fair, in the last episode, the High Sparrow was only in one scene.
Yes, he was, but that was good.
That's true. Yep. Alright, so I don't have much else to say. Well, I guess the only other thing that's Marine related is the scenes with Jorah Mormont and Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, the one scene, yeah. This wasn't terrible, this scene. It wasn't awful. The only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that his armor was so perfectly on display that Tyrion could have figured it all out. If you're gonna put on an accent, surely you would hide your shit better.
Yeah, he tried to sound like almost like a common folk.
Exactly, like I'm fine with him eventually figuring it out, but I'd rather be on like Tyrion actually like trying to figure out this guy's motivation, because there's obviously clearly more to it. And considering the fact that he spoke to him normally before when he kidnapped him, like he spoke with his actual accent.
There's a lot they cut out, because as I remember, if I explained to you in the last episode or the one before it, I think, when it was the last episode, in the books he captures him in Saloris, or Salhoris, or whatever it's called. It's a much smaller town, and then he takes him to Volantis first. And there's this whole long section where they're in, like, I guess you could call it like an apartment building. He's like his prisoner in a Volantis apartment building. And they're like sort of living in each other's space for a while, and that's kind of, it gives them a lot more time to figure out who he is. There's also another character that's missing. I think I mentioned this in episode 1. If you remember, there was those dwarves being beheaded. Do you remember when I mentioned that in the first episode?
Briefly.
Yeah, so, and I mentioned how the beheaded dwarf was, he was one of the ones at Joffrey's wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a character in the books called Penny, who is the sister of that dwarf.
Right.
Who was at that wedding, and she's in Volantis, and she becomes part of this storyline, and sort of Tyrion, because of his mood at the time, because he's become a lot more volatile. Penny kind of is part of him. Sort of, she's sort of a much softer person, and she sort of like challenges him in that respect. And it's like another dwarf for Tyrion to relate to, but that's all cut from the show, so that none of that happens.
No, you can only have one dwarf main character in the show. You can have only one.
Yeah. So instead, they just have Jorah knock out some guy with a boat and give him his little coins, and then they.
I
sail
like
off.
that. I thought that was fun. I thought it was funny. Yeah. But yeah. Like, okay, so I liked the exchange that they had. I thought that was fine.
Tyrion
Tyrion
sort of like it's almost like reverse exposition. He's telling Jorah who he is.
Yeah, because showing him that I know who you are. I know why you're doing this, and I know what you've done, and you know, the likelihood of you being taken back by her is not high. Just because you bring me to her. Yeah. Other than that, I thought the scene was fine. Other than the weird his stuff that makes him figure out who he is instantly be on display.
Now that he's figured out that he is Jorah Mormont, that's an interesting thing, because if you remember season 1, when he went to the wall, he met his father.
He did. He did indeed. Yeah, it's a dynamic that I'm interested in seeing. Obviously, like I said last episode, and how they managed to be in the same place at the same time was very bullshit, but at the very least, they can have good characters interactions, I would hope. It's not a bad start.
Yeah, because Mormont's still a good character, it's just the logistics.
Yeah, he's sort of... Yeah, he just hasn't done much for the last, like, season and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is potential. This is definitely potential of some decent character stuff.
It is indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that sums up Marine / Mormont and Tyrion.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about Dawn.
Yeah.
We have Jaime and Bronn.
Yeah, let's talk about their first scene. So
they're on the boat with Scorpio Sky.
Yes, yeah, they are. The guy who looks awfully like Scorpio Sky. He's got a very similar beard and obviously bald.
Yeah, and they actually sail past Tarth, which is it's an interesting detail that they showed us Brienne's home, given the scene that happened later where they talked about the woman that Jaime loves, dying in her arms.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would imagine that would be a natural character arc for him, is going from Cersei to Brienne, especially given the dreams he has in the books that they don't show us in the show. There's a dream he has in the book where Cersei becomes like this evil demon sort of figure and tries to kill him, and then he sees like a naked Brienne in his dreams, and he's like, ugh, why am I turned on by this wench? Like he's like angry that he's getting horny over thinking of Brienne naked. He's like, this is disgusting. Why am I getting turned on by this? But it's obviously because he has feelings. But yeah, they show us Brienne's home briefly, and then they have that scene on the boat where Jaime and Bronn talk about Tyrion and Jaime's niece Marcella, who's actually his daughter. So it appears that Bronn believes the truth that Stannis believes. That Ned Stark believes.
Seemingly. Yeah.
I mean, we also got another scene in this episode where there were lots of people that believed that in the Tommen scene, in the streets. So it appears that the belief that the Queen's children are bastards seems very common now.
Yeah. Yeah.
False kings and queens and whatnot.
Yeah, when he says, you know, if I see Tyrion again, I will split him in half. Like, the show wants me to believe I don't believe that. Pretty much.
Yeah, and he straight up lied to Bronn's face, saying that Varys let him free.
He played a role, but he didn't free him.
Sellswords, man. Why are you going to Dawn with a sellsword? That's a lot of trust to put in someone you don't know. I guess his line of thinking is he saved Tyrion's life, so he must be good for something.
Yeah, just this. It's just the foreshadow of. Oh, yeah, I was dying with the women I love, and now I'm just thinking, yeah. Where we end up with that, unfortunately. No, but it's good foreshadowing because it's what he said, and then the thing happens. Therefore, that's good foreshadowing. That's how narrative works. That's what I learned in narrative school. Yeah. So, also, the fight that Jaime has was edited like shit. I'm sorry. It was absolute garbage. The amount of fucking cuts there was absolutely insane. Like, Jesus Christ. Gotta hide all the choreography as much as we can. Well, smart. I think at the very least, they're smart enough to hide the bodies and not just leave them.
Yes,
yeah.
And obviously, Jaime said to Bronn, like, yeah. I can't dig a hole by myself.
Him catching the blade in his hand, I'm not sure how to feel about it. It feels quite plot armory.
They even lampshade it by saying, "Oh, luck."
Yeah.
Or was it?
I feel like the hand being able to catch blade is something that I feel like should be addressed. That is like him having the hand be shaped and designed in such a way where he is able to do that in a fight, to at the very least have an advantage or a trick up his sleeve, is something I feel like it'd be interesting to see him like try and train himself to do something like that in case he's in a like high ground situation, like the person he's fighting has the high ground. I feel like, and they go for an overswing.
Remember the scene from Hellbent when they all shoot around the Doctor's silhouette at the same time?
Oh, but it's so good though, Hellbent. What
that's like the most extreme form of lampshading I've ever seen.
Yeah, but you see, we fought with the Doctor, so therefore we can't kill him.
Therefore, they're all mentally synced up and they all do the same thing and they all...
Yeah, they don't have to... They don't even have to, you know, they all did... No, but Connor, they all did contact. That's what they did. That's what they did. So you're not reading between the lines.
Yeah, and they all did it...
Writing.
They all shot it perfectly and they all didn't make a mistake.
Yes,
why didn't they just, like... Why didn't they just not shoot him? Why didn't they just not shoot him?
How about you just drop your guns one by one? That'd be cool. Imagery.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Wouldn't save the episode because the episode's shit, but oh well.
Would save that moment.
Yeah. It would.
How many regenerations did we give you?
I've got all day.
Yeah, anyway, so that Dornish stuff happens, and then we get a scene with Ilaria Sand, the Sand Snakes, and Scorpio Sky in the sand with the scorpions.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's funny he's covered in scorpions as well. Like...
Oh, that's hilarious! I didn't even know. I didn't even make that connection. Oh, it was meant to be. It was meant to be.
Yep.
Unfortunately, no, they kill him. So that's quite funny. How we made that joke at the beginning of the episode, and then he ends up being surrounded by scorpions. That's quite funny. What a nice little coincidence.
Yep.
Little coincidence.
It's funny, it actually reminds me of the scene from The Scorpion King, where the Rock is buried in the sand like that, and a bunch of fire ants come towards him, and he has to, like, crack them with his head and eat them. Now, the actress who plays Nymeria Sand, you said reminds...
Jessica Henwick. What is she in? She's in something. She was in Glass Onion, Knives Out. I didn't watch that, so that's not what I recognise her from. Matrix Resurrection, I haven't watched that. But she was in that apparently. Iron Fist. She was in the Iron Fist TV show. That's where I recognise her from.
Oh yeah, with Loras Tyrell.
With Loras Tyrell. They were love interests in that show. I think. I've only watched season 1.
It's a fucking weird combination of Game of Thrones characters.
Yeah, it is. That is quite a weird one.
It'd be strange seeing Loras Tyrell.
She's one of the better parts of season 1, along with Sacha Dhawan.
Wow. What a fucking weird combination of people.
Yeah. And it has the guy from Lord of the Rings, who is Boromir's brother.
Well, speaking of Lord of the Rings, which was filmed in New Zealand, the actress who plays Abara Sand, who is the one who has that little speech before she spears Scorpio Sky in the head, the actress who plays her is Keisha Castle Hughes, who is from New Zealand. And funnily enough, these beaches in this episode actually remind me a lot of New Zealand, where I'm from. There's a lot of beaches, especially where my dad lives, that look exactly like it. With that, sort of that grass and sand combination in the hills. So yeah, Ilaria Sand, and obviously her daughter, Tyene Sand, that's the bastard of Oberyn and Ilaria. So yeah, those 3 sand snakes, they are all bastard daughters of Oberyn. And 2 different mothers. Because, he had multiple partners. And they have, they're sort of a group called the Sand Snakes. Funny, speaking of snakes, bloody Jamie and Bronn are eating them.
Yeah, they had that for breakfast.
I do wonder if, like, where does the venom start? Because, like, you have to avoid that.
It depends on what the snakes. Well, it depends on what snake it is.
Yeah, it's true.
It wasn't a python.
I suppose maybe if you cook the snake, like the venom just sort of boils.
There's snakes that don't have poison in them, so you can just say, I don't know what. I can't tell what snakes those were. I imagine someone somewhere obviously will.
Well, they're beach snakes, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say I don't know enough about snakes, like all kinds of snakes. So I don't know.
Yeah, they hide in the grass.
They were next to grass when they were sleeping, so.
They were, yes. So Ilaria Sand says something like, we don't need an army to start a war. So that seems to be their plan.
Start a war.
And what she knows a lot about what Cersei and her children. Obviously, given that she spent season 4 in King's Landing, that's pretty evident. Because she was at the wedding of Joffrey and she saw Joffrey die. They seem very vengeful for their father.
Yeah, they've got vengeance on the mind. And
in contrast to their uncle, Prince Doran, who seems to not be interested in vengeance.
Yeah.
Or at least doesn't appear so.
I could imagine this part of the show being something I could find very cringe very fast. It has that the sort of initial kind of vibe I'm getting is this could get very cringe very fast. So,
well, you have to wait and see about that, won't you?
Yeah, I will have to see if my vibes are on point.
I would say it's riding the edge of the blade at the moment. It's not quite there.
It's a little bit of the on the edgy side.
I can tell you that book readers weren't happy with it because of all the changes.
Ooh.
Because of I've already talked about the the removal of Ariane Martel, and Quentin Martel talked about how they gave Ariane Martel's idea of vengeance to Ilaria Sand. There's also the fact that instead of there being a sort of family conflict dynamic, it's that is like with where all the characters have slightly different ideas and conflicting sort of what do we do. There's one of the things about the whole dynamic in the books is that they all have like a different viewpoint on it. The Sand Snakes are very much the same. They all want the same thing in the show, especially, and they are definitely going for a much the sort of the thing they're going for with this is very similar to like Xena Warrior Princess, as opposed to what they do in the books. It's a slight change, and yeah, it is definitely more simplified, but we do get some dialogue from them, especially Abara Sand gives us a bit of a story about my father.
I will tell you my backstory in this quick scene.
Yeah.
And show you how cool I am.
Was it Nymeria has that whip that she whips the the head cover off with? Yeah. I will say though, I did really like the scene when Ilaria was covered in those robes on the beach with that horse. That was quite a visually striking moment. This story has issues so far, especially with Jamie, but it's not broken yet. It's not fully dismantled.
No, not yet.
Hasn't completely unraveled. I think what will be interesting is when we get to the point when these characters have to actually interact with each other. That's going to be the test of it, I think. I did mention that niggle I have with the title sequence that they call the Water Gardens Dawn, because the Water Gardens is like this.
Is it? I'm assuming it is in Dawn, so.
Yeah, it is. But it's a bit like how they call Castle Black the Wall as well. It's very simplified.
Sure.
Dawn is like it's like the size of a country, and the Water Gardens is like a tiny little, very small village. I just wish we got to see like Sunspear, because that's where Oberyn is from. Sunspear is a huge capital city, and it's we just haven't really seen it. So let's go to King's Landing.
Yeah, that this part of the episode was very good.
Mm-hmm. So we'll start with the small council. Mace Tyrell is being sent to the Iron Bank of Braavos, which is interesting because we know a character that's currently in Braavos.
Mm-hmm.
And Mace Tyrell was a cringe dad.
He was very much trying to be, jolly old. I'm gonna try and make light of everything and try and be a jolly good person.
Yep. So you have to imagine that he's going to be interacting with Mark Gatiss.
Yeah, that would be fun to see him again.
He's also going to be going there with Meryn Trant.
Yes.
Now, what do we know about Meryn Trant? What did he do in the first season?
He did something.
Who did he kill? Who did he kill in season 1, episode 8?
Yeah, he killed oh god, what's her name? Fuck.
Sirio Forel.
Yeah, there you go. He did. He was very pissed off with him because he was toying with him.
So Meryn Trant is going to Braavos, where who is in Braavos?
Well, we know that a certain person is doing sweeping on the floors.
That's true.
Who we didn't see this episode actually.
Yeah, so they're going to be in the same city very soon.
Yes, but Braavos is a very big city, so
it is very big. Yes,
and she's inside swiping floors. So the chance of them
so
meeting is very low. Very, 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 almost impossible. Close to impossible.
Currently, in the circumstances they're in, it is a very low chance.
Yeah. So that would have to change.
We had that really good line where Pycelle mentioned that the small council's getting smaller, and then Cersei says not small enough.
Yeah, so almost if that's what she's trying to do.
It seems like every time they go to the small council, another person leaves it, because Kevin Lannister went back to Castle Rock.
He did. Yeah, it's almost as if this is her plan.
Of course, Cersei plans to rearm the Faith Militant, which hasn't been around for, what do they say, 200 years? Something like that. And with the High Sparrow, talking about the... I loved the line... the High Sparrow is some of my favorite dialogue. He's very quotable. I love the line where he said, like, wars teach men to, you know, believe in swords, not the gods. Something like that. And then Cersei says something like, the gods need a sword of their own. I thought that was a very good scene. Obviously, Jonathan Pryce is always class.
Yes, he is very wonderful.
I love the line where Cersei offers him wine, and he could say, well, something about, like, you know, the Faith of the Seven, but actually I just don't like the taste. I love how the way he's playing the High Sparrow, the way he sounds like an old church sort of priest.
Yes, he does. He's playing it very well. Very, very fun to watch their scenes together, really. Sort
of that kindly old figure. In the Faith of the Seven. And then she... Oh, what was it? Cersei said, what would you know if there was someone in our very midst who was a sinner? And he says, may the Father be just. Obviously, she's asking on behalf of herself because she is a sinner in his eyes. He may not know it yet. He may not be sure of it, but there are rumors out there. But yeah, you can imagine if Cersei confirmed to the High Sparrow that she'd slept with her brother, that would not go down well.
No, it wouldn't. That'd be that's what they would call incest. So I don't think that would be something that he would be very much.
Yep.
Into.
We saw a very brutal scene where we saw the head branding of Lancel Lannister.
Yeah, it was quite brutal.
That was that is the symbol of the Faith of the Seven. It is the same. You know that window in the Sept of Baelor. It's the same symbol. It's been a very religious season, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of religion going on in the world of Westeros right now.
Yep. Fun fact. I know this is probably in the trivia because I think I read it. The actor who plays Lancel, you know, when he was gripping that wood as he was being branded, he broke, on purpose, like for method acting, he broke his actual fingernails doing that.
Oh, you don't need to do that. I wouldn't do that. Method acting it's always such a weird case finding actors who do method acting. Really, it's sometimes it can be very strange.
Yep.
That's not something I feel like a lot of. I feel like you don't need to do that. I feel
Jared
like it's
Leto.
fine. Yeah, that's the biggest example I think of, you know, him being a purposeful asshole. You know, to method act. Yeah, it's very strange. Method acting is such a weird topic to me. Sometimes it can be interesting. Yeah.
Heath Ledger locked himself in a box.
Yeah, that sort of stuff is like, it can't be healthy. A lot of the times it isn't, from what we normally hear from a lot of sources. You know, it's
Although
method acting is always
Although on the opposite end of that, you have stuff like Timothy Dalton and Tom Cruise who do really good stunts on their own. And
but that's not method acting. That's not the same thing, really. It's them putting themselves in situations and in a way it is more risky, but I think there's a lot of times where they can put themselves in those situations and it can be with all the safety methods as much as they can put in place.
Yeah, they do wear
They're still
harnesses.
fucking crazy. They're still fucking crazy. Like, Tom Cruise is fucking crazy for the shit he does, but it's not. I wouldn't put those in the same sort of category, really. Because its method acting is a bit different to stunt work in that regard.
Of course, we had them storm into Littlefinger's brothel, where Oliver is working, and they removed all the hordes from the men, and then they violently beat the gay men.
Yeah, they were like I think I said during the episode, the whole bigotry. They're very they're very religious and very reflective of how they see people not of their standard.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
best not be gay around them, else they'll stab you.
Best not be gay.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's that, you know, extremist religion that.
So yeah, instead of Loras Tyrell and Mace Tyrell going to Dragonstone to take back that castle that Stannis has abandoned this season, instead of doing that, what they've decided to do, they sent Mace Tyrell to Braavos for the Iron Bank, and they've decided after that, after Mace Tyrell has conveniently been taken away, the Faith Militant, the Sparrows, have captured Loras Tyrell for being a gay.
Yeah, from rumors. And it's funny how 2 episodes ago here they were like, they talked about, oh, well, everyone knows. It's like, yeah, now that's come to unfairly bite him in the arse, really.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that it's kind of like Cersei as well has rumors about her, but she's not being captured.
Yeah. No, because because she's in control. Yeah.
But also you'd have to imagine that, you know, this is her playing a power play against Marjorie by having her brother arrested and captured.
Yeah. And it's the king is so, as we mentioned, I think the actor is actually doing a good job at making him seem so insecure, vulnerable, and easily, you know, toyed with either side. You see with Marjorie where it's something that is going to legitimately concern her, the fact that her brother is in jail, but she obviously knows how to use him. And then you get the scene with Cersei where the dialogue she uses and the way she says it very softly, it easily toys with him, you know, and how he is, because he's weak. He is weak as a king. He's very easily toyed with.
Yeah, I thought this was some of the best stuff they've done with Tommen, actually.
Yes, and it shows, I think the actor's doing a really great job of it in selling that. He's doing a really good job. It's not something that is requiring a massive amount of acting, but for what they are actually giving him, he's doing a really good job of it.
Absolutely, and I love the Marjorie at first as being very honest and forthfront, but then when she realizes she needs to sweet talk him, she does it.
Yes.
And of course, Cersei gaslights him as well by saying she had nothing to do with Loras when she clearly very much did.
Yeah, she lied about it, and it's very much trying to paint the picture of like, you're the king, you're a control, like that sort of thing of trying to toy with him. It's yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Is that he has control by law, but does he have control personally?
Yeah, does he have the ability to make those decisions? He very much could have commanded his guards to kill all of the religion people. He could have done that.
The Sparrows.
He didn't because he's not. That's not the person he is at this moment in time.
Yeah. So just to sort of like a bit of word association, like the Sparrows are the cult that came to King's Landing, that wear the robes under the High Sparrow. The Faith Militant is legally what a religious army is called. So the Sparrows have become the Faith Militant. That's sort of
quite a neat name.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. This is
This
is also quite creative because obviously Tommen is too young in the books to do any of this. So this is all new stuff, and I think they did really well at incorporating the older Tommen into this by having him be concerned about, things.
Try to be a good person and try to appease everyone. But
it's a very different dynamic here because instead of it being Tommen doing absolutely having no knowledge of anything and Cersei being the Queen Regent, this is Tommen actually having some influence and some understanding, and Cersei being the Queen Mother representing him.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, you could say she is the hand of the king.
Uh-huh. Yes, you could. She's very much in control.
But yeah, the fact that she's having to gaslight her own son is quite sad.
Yeah, it's just a reality of who she is as a person and what she's willing to do to shape things in the way that she needs them to be.
Yeah, I really like that line where Tommen says, "Are you and mother not getting along?"
Yeah, it's very funny.
And of course, Marjorie says, "I must send a raven to Queen Mother," as in the Queen of Thorns, Olenna Tyrell, who we have not seen since she left King's Landing after Joffrey's wedding, and after she slipped a bit of juice in his wine. So yeah, it'd be great to get her back because she's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Always blunt.
Yeah.
And you'd hope that we get a scene with her and Jonathan Pryce because they're very good actors.
Yeah, we haven't seen her since the second episode of season 4.
Fourth episode, I think.
4. All right. Oh yes, because she would have left. She said she was leaving. So yeah, it's been now a season since we've seen her.
She leaves right before the trial.
Yes, right before. Yeah, I remember.
Yep. Back to High Garden.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the gay has been put in a prison cell.
We do not stand this bigotry in King's Landing.
Yep. No, we don't.
Let him be gay. Let him be happy.
So yeah, this was really, I mean, there's what I liked so much about this whole thing in King's Landing. It was playing the Game of Thrones, wasn't it? They're playing around with everyone's influence over the king is relevant here. And I like how Cersei said, "Oh, I'm sure my son will sign a royal decree to bring back the Faith Militant." And clearly, he's just too naive to understand the implications, and he probably signs the paper.
He doesn't know anything. He is very much a person who just doesn't know anything about what is going on.
And then after Loras is arrested, he goes, "Hang on a second. The Faith Militant did this. I signed this paper. What?" Of course, you get that scene where he chooses not to be violent because apparently the High Sparrow is praying. And you can see, like, after he comes back, Marjorie sees, like, she sort of thinks of him as pathetic because he chooses not to use violence, and you can very much see in her eyes of, like, "Oh, I wish you were Joffrey."
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah, because Joffrey would have absolutely cut through them.
Oh, yeah, and ignorantly so, yeah.
Yeah. Because even though Joffrey was...
whether he's in position of power or not, in terms of, standings in and accurate, stratagem, but he would still do it because he's Joffrey.
That's the thing, though, is that Joffrey was actually a match for her, whereas Tommen isn't.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Of course, her best husband was also a gay.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Renly Baratheon.
Yes, she's a big supporter.
Shall we make a bet, Lord Baelish? Oh god, I miss those seasons. So good. That whole King's Tourney fight, man. The jousting, that was great. First scene was between Stannis and his wife and the Red Woman.
Yep, the bitch and the Red Woman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I actually really liked all the stuff they did with Stannis this episode. As brief as it was, it's something that...
Very character focused.
Very character focused in terms of, like, the fact that his wife is constantly degrading her own daughter because of her deformity. And just sort of the way she acts. To have that scene between Stannis and his daughter was quite nice. To have them actually not be... the heir to the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, but to be a father, I thought was quite nice It's something that I wish we've gotten more of in the seasons where he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, I loved Stannis telling the story about how Shireen got grayscale and then how she was cured. That was a fantastic little scene for the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I also mentioned the Dornish as well, which kind of connects to other parts of the episode.
Yes.
Sort of takes advantage of the new father.
Interlinking.
How she was given a doll that had grayscale on it.
Yeah, that's quite a neat thing.
Yeah. There is one world-building issue I have with this scene, though. Is that they change where the stone men are from. And there's a reason why they do this, and it becomes relevant later. But they say that the stone men are from the ruins of old Valyria as opposed to the Sorrows, which is a bit of a problem I have. I have a problem with that, because the implication of Valyria is very clearly unreachable. But I will get more into my issues with this sort of change when it becomes relevant in another episode. Because it's the actual, I guess, the actual tangible effects of this change aren't felt yet, but this is kind of where it's set up. So I do have an issue with that. But in terms of the characters and their relationship with each other, this was a fantastic scene with great acting. I thought the actress who played Shireen did really well this episode.
Yeah, she's actually really good.
She's
She's
very
a really
natural.
good child actor.
Like, the crying didn't feel forced, it felt very natural.
No, it's a great, it's really good acting.
And I also like how they're
very
paying off
impressive.
something from season 3. If you remember season 3, episode 5, Yes by Fire, when she goes to hug him, he doesn't hug her back. Whereas here, he actually eventually does, inevitably.
Yeah.
Like him telling the story about how he saved her life and all that. By getting every maester in the Seven Kingdoms to treat her. Stop the disease early. Very good stuff. Of course, that brings us to the other side of the Stannis story, which is the Red Woman, Melisandre.
Yes.
So before the scene that I'm about to get to, we have a scene where Samwell Tarly is getting Jon to sign papers to get men from the Seven Kingdoms, and obviously the one that's the most valuable is Roose Bolton because he's the Warden of the North, and he can command the most men. Of course, Jon doesn't want to do so because Roose Bolton shanked Robb Stark.
Yeah, and killed Catelyn and killed a whole bunch of good men.
Although I don't think Jon cares that much about Catelyn. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I imagine there's a part of him that would care, for obvious reasons.
Why he wouldn't want her to? He wouldn't want her to die. He obviously wouldn't want her to die.
No,
but
and the fact that she is like Sansa's Arya's mother, Robb's mother. I feel like there's something about that I feel like
tragic
about it.
With Jon, I feel like his connection to Catelyn, it's not hatred, it's more like resentment, if that makes sense.
No, it is, but it's resentment that when learning upon her death, I feel like it would affect him because of like
I feel like sort of almost like there's
almost
like there's unfinished business, like they.
Yeah, it's tragic, and there's a tragedy element to it in the fact that they couldn't. Like that great scene that Catelyn had in season 3, talking about how when talking about Jon and how Jon was ill, I believe, and she promised that she would care for him and love him like as if she was her own son. And when he did get better, she couldn't keep that promise, and that sort of just unyielding resentment, no matter how hard she tried. And I feel like that is something that probably through Jon's life that came through. I can imagine something like that came through. And learning upon her death, I feel like it's something that if I was in that position, there would be an element of tragedy to it, because it is something that is unresolved.
Yeah.
And it's quite tragic.
I would have really liked to see a scene where Jon talks about Catelyn after her death, to be honest.
Yes. Well, I feel like there's been the one thing that I would say about the war and John that I feel like has really missed out on potential is his reaction to. Obviously, we got that in this scene, and I want more of that. Is the reaction to, you know, Catelyn, Robb, potentially Arya, potentially Sansa, all, you know, dying, because he did spend the majority of his life with these people. Yeah, it's something that I feel like, and we did get that in the scene actually, where he regrettably did have to sign to get more men from the Boltons, who are responsible for their deaths.
There's a dream that John has a lot of dreams, and in fact, there's a lot of dreams in the books, but there's a lot of dreams that don't make it to the show. John has a dream in the book where he flashes back to his childhood with Robb, where they were, you know, pretending to play sword fighting in Winterfell. And there's a scene where he flashes back to a time where they're pretending to be lords. And there's a line where John says, "I'm the Lord of Winterfell." And then Robb says to him, "Yeah, but you'll never be because you're a bastard."
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, really hurt him to hear that from Robb. Oh, I would have really liked to see that scene, honestly. They could have done that.
Definitely could have.
That scene happens very close to the Red Wedding as well. And also there's a whole sort of subplot we don't get in the show where... So you know the offer that Stannis makes to Jon? Basically, before Robb's death, before they get to the twins, there's a scene where Robb tries to convince Catelyn to legitimize Jon because of the wars. Catelyn refuses him. And obviously that word never really gets around to Jon, but that is a scene that does happen where Robb wants Jon to be legitimized as a Stark and Catelyn refuses it. But yeah, they cut that. But yes, of course, once Samwell leaves the room, we get the Red Woman comes in. She wants Jon Snow's seed, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She wants the...
Yeah.
She attempts to...
Wonder why.
Have sex with him, and he is tempted, very tempted, but he refuses it because he still loves Ygritte.
Yep.
Which is a great character thing for him. And then she goes to leave, turns around and says, "You know nothing, Jon Snow."
That's good. That
Great.
was real good.
Great scene. I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, just that one line, it says a lot about her knowledge and her and how that would affect Jon in that moment, and how, you know, a lot of things would go through his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good.
It's interesting with this episode, the Game of Thrones fans collectively lost their shit at this episode. Number one, they were all going, "Holy shit," about this scene where she says, "You know nothing, Jon Snow," in like a positive way. But then moments later, they go the opposite direction with Barristan's death.
Yeah, not half an hour later, they're feeling of like, "Oh wow, that's pretty darn cool," to, "Oh darn, that's pretty shit."
But that just is this part of the show. It's so mixed, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a weird roller coaster. But yeah, all the stuff at the wall was very character focused, and I liked it a lot. And pretty much almost everything at the wall this season's been real good. Even if they've removed a lot of the stuff from it, it's still the stuff they use is working big time. Especially for those like small character scenes. Now we go to Winterfell. This is the last part to talk about. We have that scene with Sansa and Littlefinger in the crypts where she goes to Lyanna Stark's statue and lights a candle. It's interesting that they go to Lyanna's statue because just after this scene, Barristan talks about when Rhaegar walked past Elia Martell to Lyanna, which again, Martell linking to the Dorne storyline. There's a lot of good linking with this, but Barristan mentions how Rhaegar chose Lyanna over Elia Martell. And then obviously Littlefinger also mentions it to Sansa as well here. And then she says, then he kidnapped her and raped her. There seems to be a bit of contradiction with Rhaegar, doesn't there? Because you have
A
one
little bit, yeah.
you have one person telling him, "Oh, he's lovely. He gives charity to these people. He sings. He's a great singer. He's a lovely man." Like, we got terribly drunk. Like, Barristan speaks of Rhaegar as if he's the most wonderful friend that he lost.
He speaks very highly of him.
Yeah, and then Sansa speaks of him as, "I heard that he
I think
captured and raped Lyanna."
It makes me think that there's more, that the stories about him have sort of spread and given false information about him, but then you talk to someone who was actually with him pretty regularly, and he speaks very highly of him.
Well, you'd have to imagine that King Robert Baratheon had a very specific point of view on what happened.
Yeah, and that and just the narrative of that contradiction, I think, is very interesting.
It seems like Rhaegar's character posthumously, the reason why we're getting so many different accounts of who he is because it's a very subjective thing. It depends who you are and what you think happened. It's all about point of view. And so the people that were against him think he was terrible, and the people that were his friend think he was wonderful.
Yeah, but actually,
of course, you get Daenerys saying that, like, Viserys never told any of these things to her about him. But you have to imagine that part of that is because Viserys was jealous of his older brother, because his older brother was the heir.
Like, literally, you have Daenerys saying, well, he talked about Rhaegar as if he liked to kill a lot, and then you have the contradiction of, no, he was someone who enjoyed singing. He didn't like killing. And it's a sort of like trying to paint the Targaryens as vicious killers, and that's what he wanted Daenerys to believe.
Well, he wanted Daenerys to believe, or at least there's a lot of people that believe that Rhaegar is the seed of the Mad King, and that's why they hate him. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, we learn in this scene that Littlefinger's heading his way back to King's Landing.
He is, yes. Obviously, the Faith Militant have raided his brothel, so he's probably got some interest in that, doesn't he?
Yeah. In this scene, we have him say to Sansa that she's very good at maneuvering past clever people.
I mean, that does.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call the people of the Vale that clever.
No. It also just makes me remember a part of season 8 that I find quite funny to think about.
Oh yeah.
And you could, if I had known that, I could see this scene as Littlefinger trying to maneuver around her into thinking that he is actually caring for her and trying to do what's best for her. But knowing what the show then goes on to do, paints a very different picture, as if he does believe this.
It makes Littlefinger look really stupid.
It does, and that seems to be a common theme so far this season, and that's really annoying because he is, for like 4 seasons, was like one of the, along with Varys, one of the cleverest people in the realm.
Well, at this point in the book, Littlefinger is planning to overthrow the Vale and have Sansa marry Harold Harding, which is really it's a really interesting little twist when he finally reveals that to Sansa at the end of A Feast for Crows. But in the show, no, he gives her to Ramsay Bolton, which I just think that's so strange. Why would he give it to Ramsay Bolton? Because because in the books they gave Jane Poole to Ramsay Bolton, so they thought they would combine them. But it doesn't work though. Yeah. Ugh, I don't. That's the thing though. Is like I said about this being mixed. Is like that whole scene at Winterfell is mixed, isn't it? There's bits of it that are really good and bits of it that aren't.
Yeah. Also, Sophie Turner's acting is quite. It's beginning to become a very much one note.
There's also another. I remember what I was going to say now. There's another aspect of when I was talking before about the Rhaegar Targaryen point of view thing. I mentioned this briefly in episode 1 review, but another aspect of Rhaegar Targaryen that they show is that Cersei was once very taken by him, and the plan originally was that she was going to be betrothed to him. Instead, she ended up with Robert Baratheon. So she was very much, you know, she felt a form of love for Rhaegar, despite the fact that her husband hated him because of Lyanna. It's interesting how that works, right? How Robert loved Lyanna and Cersei loved Rhaegar, and yet Rhaegar and Lyanna ended up together and Cersei and Robert ended up together because of circumstances. But yeah, anything else you want to say about any of the characters in this episode?
Just for the most part, it was a lot stronger than usual. Well, I would say for season 5.
Yeah, apart from the last scene. The last scene just ruins the episode. It's so sad. If it wasn't for Barristan's death, this would actually be pretty good. This would be a pretty good episode. Like, if you remove Barristan's death, this would be like season 4 level, I think. Possibly. Maybe not the best of season 4, but like it's one of the lesser episodes. You know, but still sort of be on that sort of plane. So this is, in terms of reception, it's an episode that benefits from the intricate plotting of the previous 3. Sons of the Harpy balances bloody action with illuminating character interplay. David Crow says this is the weakest of the season so far, but still reasonably solid. I would disagree. I think House of Black and White is the weakest so far.
Yeah.
And
I think that last scene was very shit. I would agree with that.
All told, an excellent episode filled with revelations and surprises, great action and fantastic drama. I'm excited to see the backstory begin to emerge in earnest, something I've been wondering about for years. You did mention during the reaction about the backstory being sort of unpeeled in this episode.
Yes.
But that review very much like kind of goes, oh, it made me feel things, and that's good. Writing was by Dave Hill. Now, given that the decision to kill off Barristan was a Dave and Dan decision, I feel like I would say Dave Hill did pretty good on the whole. You know, I would say his dialogue character writing was definitely, it definitely worked for the most part. Maybe some of his action writing isn't quite as good. Like, I think that's the main issue, is that the way he writes the action scenes and sort of informs it to the director, it doesn't seem to translate as well when you think about like the Jaime scene and the fight at the end in the Marine. Those action scenes don't seem to translate well, but when it comes to the sort of just the character dialogue, there's a lot of that in this episode that's quite good. Mm-hmm. So I would give mild praise to Dave Hill for his first outing, his first contribution to the show. I think it's a bit unfortunate that Dave Hill is only going to be associated with the second half of the show, though.
Yeah.
He's only part of the bad seasons. Because he's going to be hearing so many people say, oh, Game of Thrones like lost its way after season 4, and he's just like, oh, you mean when I joined? The direction was by Mark Millod. I thought the actual direction work was good. The problem I had was the editing. The editing in this episode was quite sloppy.
It was very, very shoddy.
He also directed the last episode as well. He knows how to do good composition. Like, that shot at the top of the Marine Pyramid was really good in terms of the setting. The like I said, that shot of Ilaria Sand on the beach covered in robes. Really liked that. I thought the scene in the Winterfell crypts looked quite good too, with the statue. Oh, and how could I forget the scene where Lancel gets branded? That's a very well directed scene. But yeah, I would say this wasn't to the best level of Game of Thrones visual standards.
No,
there was some
definitely been better.
There was some interesting intercutting where when Hizdar was having that conversation with Daenerys, they were showing cuts of the Harpy running through the city. Sons of the Harpy. Music by Raymond Javadi.
Well, the music that stood out the most was of the last scene, and it very much confirmed my suspicions on what the event was taking place. So, but the music was good. It was as it always is.
Yep. We have a couple of tracks as always. The first is called High Sparrow, which is the theme of the High Sparrow, as you'd imagine. So yes, the sort of the balance of the two, I guess, energies it goes for. You have the louder sections of the monks going oh, with the drumming, very much representing the faith militant and the the Sparrow Army taking its power over King's Landing. But then you also have those quieter sections of that old string echoing, which kind of represents sort of the High Sparrow in the background.
Yeah, that was very on point in terms of trying to get across the sort of aggression of their religion, as you could say. I think that is a very well suited theme to the sort of like godness of them and their sort of aggression, like their religion being so aggressive in terms of their force. And I feel like it was very well suited. It was very well suited to the scene they used in this episode for what they did. It's very, very memorable as a track in terms of getting that across.
When I hear those
very suited.
When I hear those old echoing string sections, it just makes me think of Jonathan Pryce's sort of wry smile he does.
Very good.
How can a man who is so calm and who seems to have no aggression command an army of monks who are?
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like he doesn't seem to feel or think much of it. It seems very normal to him, that sort of aggression, and he can stay very calm and at peace and in his prayers without needing to show that aggression. He comes across very charitable and very holy, and yet he's commanding these young monk figures who are doing his dirty work. Because you can imagine the scene where he was commanding them, right? We didn't see it, but it's not like go and arrest him now. It's just like, bring Loris Tyrell to me. He needs to be imprisoned for his sins, and he must atone in front of the mother or the father. It's almost quite sociopathic in a way, and that string section in the song really it really fits him. They talked in the episode about, you know, the Faith Militant being 200 years old. It's like that string sounds like it's 200 years old. You know, it's all broken and rusty, but it's still, you can still hear it. The next track is called Don't Die with a Clean Sword, and it is from Season 2. This is the song that plays in the Blackwater when the Hound goes to fight. And there's a, if you remember the Blackwater episode, there's a line where he says, "If any man dies with a clean sword, I'll rape his fucking corpse." So yeah, this is a holdover from Season 2, and I've decided to put it here because there was a gap that needed filling. So yeah, we're gonna flash all the way back to Season 2. This is a long time ago. He mixed a bunch of things in there. He obviously uses the Stannis theme a lot in this, which is natural given that during the Blackwater it was his army that was attacking King's Landing, but they also mixed in the sort of the Game of Thrones theme towards the end too. You mentioned something about that scene with Jaime and Bronn when he talks about, you know, his Tywin dying and it being Tyrion and all that. So in the books, after finding Tywin's body, Jaime muses that in retrospect, Tyrion never said he meant to kill our father. If he had, I would have stopped him. Then I would be the kinslayer, not him. So Jaime never states aloud or thinks that if he sees Tyrion again, he'll kill him for murdering their father. So yeah, that is something that they have put there. I guess it's supposed to kind of be a red herring of some sorts, in the sense that he's saying that he'll do that, but when they do eventually meet again, that won't happen, because Jaime can't kill his own brother. This is something that they don't focus as much on in the show is how bad kin slaying is considered. When you slay your own kin, it's considered to be a very, very bad thing. And that's why you get that, you know, in season 2, that scene where he's in his little picket prison and he kills what's his name, Alton Lannister. They don't put as much emphasis on the fact that he slayed his own kin in that scene. Whereas in the books, the character's name is Cleos Frey, and it is his cousin, but it's not really his last name. It's kind of like an off-cut Lannister. So there's is more of an argument to whether it's kinslaying as opposed to being a direct cousin. Also, instead of it being Jaime and Bronn like secretly trying to get into Dorne, it's Sir Balin Swan, who's part of the Kingsguard. He goes there openly, and the Sand Snake suggests to kill him because of Oberyn, but Prince Doran forbids them to harm them. The people who get sent to Braavos are not Mace Tyrell and Meryn Trant in the books. It is Harris Swift and Raff the Sweetling. Now, if you remember, what was it? So you know the scene in season 2 when Yoren gets killed by Polliver? Mm-hmm. Of course, Arya gets her revenge in season 4 by stabbing him with Needle. Polliver steals Needle.
Yes.
So in that scene where Yoren dies in the books, there's two characters. It's not just Polliver. Polliver is the one that commands it, but Raff the Sweetling is the one that actually kills Yoren. And they're two separate people. Polliver gets killed in that inn. Raff the Sweetling is the one that goes to Braavos. So it's a different person that Arya has beef with. Of course, Raff the Sweetling doesn't exist in the show, so instead they sent Meryn Trant, who has deep beef with her for a different reason, which is the Syria Farrell thing. So they kind of worked around it a bit by sending one of the Kingsguard with Mace Tyrell. Now, what's going to be interesting about the Iron Bank is that they just did business with Stannis Baratheon, right? So what are their demands going to be of Cersei, given that she's on the other side? When Loras Tyrell goes to Dragonstone, there is a rumor around in the books that he was fatally wounded in battle, but it's not confirmed. Whereas here he gets imprisoned by the Faith Militant. Oh, that's right. Another thing they don't really talk about much in the show is the Giscari Empire, about how the slavery kind of exists, in the sense that it's one, like how do I say this? Like the Giscari are the ones that colonize the slaves. You know, the slave masters are Giscari, whereas the slaves are, Meronese, Yunkish, and Astaporian, and it was the Giscari that came to, enslave them and basically colonize Slavers Bay as it exists. And the Sons of the Harpy are very much part of that Giscari Empire, and the Harpy is it's the heraldic symbol of the slave masters. They don't talk much about the, I guess you could say, because it's not really a race thing, but it's more of a class thing and a geographical thing. Mm-hmm. In that Slavers Bay was vulnerable and underdeveloped, whereas the Giscari Empire was very developed. Like, if I was to give an example of, because you know how they show the Eirich in the title sequence sometimes, like in the first episode of this season they did. If they said, if it was written the Vale, that would be the equivalent of what we got with Dawn, where you're showing the water gardens, but it says Dawn. There may be too many Kingsguard in this episode. That could be an issue. There's only supposed to be 7 at one time. Jaime is the Lord Commander. He is in Dawn. Cersei says she's sending Meryn Trant. Previously in season 2, we saw Ares Oakheart leave with Marcella, so that's 3. And yet when Tommen tries to visit the High Sparrow, there are 5 Kingsguard with him.
Oh, Jesus. That's a
5.
Error.
5 plus Jaime, Meryn, and Eris make 8. There are 3 possibilities. First, one of those 5 might be Meryn. Second, Sir Eris may have simply returned to King's Landing after he finished, and he's part of that. Third, the number of Kingsguard visible on screen may be an accident.
Well, yeah, so I think it's seemingly a continuity error.
I mean, given that Ares Oakheart is not in the TV show at all after this point, it's possible that he either returned to the Kingsguard, or, I mean, there's no word of him being killed, is there? No one's ever talked about him dying. So for a Kingsguard to die and it not to be mentioned would be strange. I guess you just have to assume that Ares Oakheart returned to King's Landing, right? And the only reason he was on the boat with her was to escort her there in the show. Whereas in the books, he stays there and is in love with Ariane Martell. Obviously, they cut out Ariane Martel from the show. She's not in it, so Ares Okar doesn't need to be there. So I suppose that's just what they did. They just had him come back to King's Landing. And that would explain why there's 7 in King's Landing. Oh, there's a detail that they have removed about Eddard Stark's death. So, in the show, obviously Joffrey has Ned Stark's head removed, beheaded, killed, whatever. It wasn't just shocking because of psychopathic violence and political stupidity. But in the novels, there's also another element of it in that a lot of people were outraged because he defiled him on holy grounds in front of the Great Sept of Baelor. So, in terms of the scene where Tommen doesn't kill men, if they had included that, you could also factor in Tommen not only doesn't want to kill them because he's not a murderer, but also it's on holy grounds. So that is something that they haven't featured. So there's a similar scene in the book where he's not in Dorne, he's somewhere else. I won't reveal what that is yet. But the scene where Jaime figures out that his hand can be useful, it's instead in the books he figures out he can use it to punch people in the face. But that actually makes sense. That's different, right? Because using it as a weapon to punch people in the face is actually viable, whereas him catching a sword with his hand is very unlikely. Oh, George R. R. Martin sent in a note on the script for the fight scene, painting out that Jaime should be a worse fighter now that due to his lack of a right hand and not really having enough time to train how to fight with his left hand effectively. The scene was rewritten and re-choreographed as a result. Interesting. So the original version of the scene was going to have him much better at fighting. That would have been not very good. Ooh, here's an interesting bit of trivia. Apparently the Dawn subplot was actually not going to be in Season 5, but Brian Cogman changed it. He had the idea that if you send Jaime and Bronn there, it would make it possible. That is very interesting. Makes me wonder what they were going to do with Jaime and Bronn in Season 5 if they didn't do that. Or at least Jaime, because Bronn doesn't need to be in it, but what would Jaime be doing? Would he just be in King's Landing? Oh, here's an interesting bit of trivia. You know the scorpions that were crawling on the head of the Pentoshi merchant captain, which is Scorpio Sky, as we said?
Mm-hmm. Apparently
they're not CGI. They are live scorpions that had to be brought in by a special handler.
Yeah, they looked real.
They were real. They were. I imagine they were defanged and devenomed, but they were real scorpions. So yeah, that statue of Lyanna that Sansa was at, that's the same statue that Robert Baratheon saw in the first episode of Season 1. And then obviously, Ned says to him, all the Targaryens are dead. And then Robert says, not all of them. So, viewership, we've had a bit of a strange roller coaster with it recently. Because the first episode got 8 and then it went down. And the last episode was on 6.71. It's been going down. So this episode, 6.82. So it's gone slightly up. Not massively up, but slightly up.
Mm.
It makes you wonder, how long is it going to take for them to get back to that record 8 again?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll happen this season?
Because it will happen at some point. This season, I would probably say if it is going to happen, it's probably going to be towards the end of the season. Either episode 9 or 8. 9 or 10, seemingly.
Give your conclusion and rating out of 10 for Sons of the Harpy.
In terms of episodes this season, it's, again, one of the better ones out of the 4 we've had so far. I would say it was very consistent throughout the entire episodes up until the ending and a couple things here and there. And it's a real shame because I think this could have possibly been rivaling as best episode of the season if it just didn't do that thing at the end. I can't. Yeah, it's again whether I give this a 6 or 7. And because of the ending,
I mean, you gave the last episode a 6.5.
Yeah, so I probably would give this a 6. Then I'd say. I think 6 out of 10 is probably fair because if that last part just wasn't there and it was something completely different and it was good, this probably would have been like a 7 or a 7.5 maybe, depending on what it was, because I think dialogue-wise, this episode was actually quite strong for what it wanted, and there was a lot of really good stuff going on.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, so my only real issues with this episode are the Jaime fight was a bit stupid in terms of editing and in terms of logic, and Jorah Mormont having his bear jacket being very obvious to Tyrion wasn't the best. They kind of rushed the realization of it. Yeah, some of the dialogue with the sand characters wasn't the greatest in terms of execution, but it was okay. And the other aspect is Barristan Selmy's death, which is absolutely garbage. A massive waste. Universally panned as it should be. It was a terrible waste of a character. But apart from that, it was actually quite a good episode. Daenerys and Barristan talking about Rhaegar was real good. Oh, and actually the other issue I had was Littlefinger and Sansa, the way he just sort of believes in her to outmaneuver the Boltons, which I think is weird, because that definitely will not happen. He's very much... It seems quite foolish. But the stuff at the wall was really good character work. The King's Landing stuff was also really good too, with the Faith Militant. Loras being changed to sort of like imprisoned for gay, I'm not the biggest fan of, but it still works to some extent here. But the stuff they did with Tommen, mainly, the High Sparrow, Cersei and Marjorie, that stuff was all really good. The scene with Jorah and Tyrion was alright. And yeah, I think probably my favourite scene in the episode was with Stannis and his daughter, despite the world building issue I had. Yeah, there's quite a few issues littered across the episode, but there is also quite a lot of good stuff as well. I'm going to be slightly more harsh and give it a 5.5. This might be because I'm a book reader and I have a bit more context. There's just a few little niggles around that they just sort of they've played a bit with here. But the scenes that they get right, they get really right, especially the scene with Jon and the Red Woman, with Stannis and his daughter, for the most part, with Cersei and Tommen, with Tommen and the sort of the Sparrows, with Marjorie. That stuff's all really good. And obviously the scene with Daenerys and Barristan is really good too. It's actually quite refreshing to see Daenerys be happy for once. Actually show some humanity. Crack a smile. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5.5 out of 10. It's still one of the better episodes of the season so far, but I think it's let down by issues. By a lot of them small issues, and then the Barristan scene at the end is a massive issue. So next time, episode 5 is called Kill the Boy.
Oh my god.
We've already had a Rabin Javadi track called Kill the Boy, which we played last time, the scene where Jon beheads Janos Slint. So yeah, your anticipations for Kill the Boy.
Maybe the boy at the wall dies, or someone tries to kill him, maybe. That could be a way to relate it to the same track. Or maybe someone tries to kill Tormund, maybe. That would be a bit of a shock to have halfway through the season.
Or it could be a metaphor.
Or could be a metaphor. Someone who's acting like a boy but is in fact an adult. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what to expect. Kill the boy. I imagine there will be another death, maybe. Maybe there'll be a death metaphorically. We shall see. I feel like this episode, there was... Stuff did happen. I think King's Landing moved forward. Everything else at the moment is on... It was very much on pause, but we had a lot of characters. So next episode, I feel like there's going to be some stuff happening. I'd imagine.
Yeah, it tends to be with the episodes with Brian Cogman and Dave Hill writing. Usually it's very character focused and there's not a lot of plot.
No.
Whereas the
Marine and King's Landing, I'd say there was stuff happening, but Marine was more so a character died. And that was a progression.
Yeah, well, I would say it's a regression, honestly.
Yeah, because it wasn't done well.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see what is the reaction, Daenerys' reaction to the death of Barristan by the Sons of the Harpy. Jorah and Tyrion are making their way to Slaver's Bay. Obviously, Littlefinger is going to King's Landing, as is the Queen of Thorns. Jaime and Bronn are making their way to the Water Gardens of Dawn. We didn't get any Arya this episode, but we know that Mace Tyrell is going to Braavos, as is Meryn Trant, to the Iron Bank. Jon is writing letters. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on. We didn't get any Reek or Ramsay in this episode either. And we also didn't get any Bread and Podrick either.
No, we did not.
Yeah.
It feels like, yeah, the show pretty much is in a state where it can't focus on everything per episode.
It's just too many characters. We'll see you all next time for Kill the Boy. I bid you adieu, a good night, and a goodbye. Bang.